this video, we're still looking at input devices, but we're going to be looking at different types of scanners today. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll be able to explain how 2D and 3D scanners work, describe an OCR scanner and an OMR scanner. Don't worry if you don't know those yet, because we're looking at them in a second, and then have a look at some advantages and disadvantages of the different types of scanners. Okay then, so scanners can be one-dimensional, two-dimensional or three-dimensional. The D and them does stand for dimensional, like I was just saying, or dimension I should say. And when we talk about dimensions, we're just talking about the direction of measurement. So an example of a one-dimensional scanner would be a barcode reader, because it just goes along one direction. Two-dimensional would be the QR code, because it can go in two directions, and a three-dimensional scanner is going to give you three different dimensions. All right, this one would be depth. All right, that's depth. So first we look at the simplest one, a document scanner. Now it just sits on a flat surface. You often get them on top of printers, and they just sit on the top, and they have a little hatch that goes on the top there. You put the documents in, the hatch closes, and then it runs a light along it and scans it in. All right, the way it works is the same way as the barcode scanner, in the principle that the light shines onto the document, and then it can pick up the difference of the colors when it's reflected back into the sensor. All right, it is the simplest form of scanner, and it just simply records it as one image. All right, so if you scan something, you can't move the images around or then delete an image or delete a letter from typing or anything like that. It just acts like a photograph. All right, which takes us to OMR scanners. Now, OMR scanner stands for optical mark recognition, and you've probably all seen documents like this before, where you just fill in the option that you want. What an OMR scanner does is scans the document and picks up on these little lines, and also reads which one that you've marked for that one line. Right, so it will match up this and then read this, and then it will check to see if this answer here matches the answer it's supposed to be, and then it will mark it as correct or not in an exam situation anyway. And again, it works in the same principle. It shines light onto the surface, and it can detect the difference on the light reflecting back in the sensor. Most likely you've seen them in exams, but they can be used in surveys and in voting systems too. Alright, OCR scanners stands for optical character recognition. So when you're using one of these, you might not even realize it, because it might look exactly the same as the document scanner. But the difference is with the optical character recognition is that if you scan a document, it has software attached to it that can distinguish between every character, so then it can separate them out. And then, for example, if I scanned a document that had lots of lines in it, it could detect all of the different characters, so I could then load it onto my computer and then edit this document or add to it or delete parts out that I didn't want. Okay. So it's a little bit like a document scanner, but it has more functionality and it's more practical for a workspace, because it will give you a document you can edit into your computer. Okay, 3D scanners. Now, 3D scanner records all sides of an object. They can use light, but sometimes they might use physical contact to feel the object and put that scanner into scan the actual physical touch into the computer. All of the information about the object is sent to the computer, and then the computer can rebuild the object inside the computer and build a 3D model of what it is you've scanned. It can be used to make 3D images on a screen, or even copy an object, and then you can use that copy to put into a 3D printer we look at 3D printers in a later video, and then you could print that object out again. So you could copy something from real life and then reproduce it again using a 3D scanner and a 3D printer. Alright, so 3D scanners are becoming much more used in the workplace as we progress through technology, and they're becoming cheaper and they're becoming better. Now, they're often used in industrial situations to manufacture objects. Like I said, copy one thing and then they can use a printer to reconstruct it. It's being used more and more in medical situations because scanners can be very small and they can be put inside of things where a human can't normally look, and then scan it so you can see anything that is there if you want to diagnose anything. Archaeological, they have been used for a while now to scan things like tombs and places that might be like underground that people can't get to, or Egyptian tombs that no one's allowed inside. They can put a scanner in and then they can scan it and they can get a feel of what it looks like, and they can see what it looks like inside, even though a human might never have been there. Right. Cultural, so they can scan works of art so we can save them, and then if they're destroyed in a natural disaster or something, we can recreate them. Or you can scan something like Michelangelo's David and then recreate it somewhere else in the world so people can appreciate that art elsewhere, even though it's not the original. And in entertainment, used a lot in video games, especially when we're looking at VR. Alright, VR scanners use them a lot. Okay, so that is 3D scanners, and I'll see you in the next video.